So for those that are new here on my channel, we usually have a versus series where we take two characters who have never met and face them off against one another. However, I decided that while versus is a lot of fun, it can get a little repetitive. So I decided to make a series which still ties into the versus related content of my channel, but also allows us to dive into debatable topics such as characters like Batman, which, funny enough, is who we happen to be talking about in today's video. So, as we will do with most of these videos, we'll first provide a brief overview of what Batman's about, and then we'll move on to the main reason you clicked on this video, by asking, can Batman beat anyone with prep time? Oh, however, I want to make a quick reminder that we will not be including reality warping threats like Galactus, Franklin Richards, Tryon Juggernaut, The Void, The Spectre, the White Lantern, Kyle Rayner, Michael the Archangel, and Lucifer Morningstar, because let's be honest, the only way you could possibly defeat those characters is to invoke an even greater power, which Batman has no way of possessing. So we'll just stick with characters that are around or just above Superman's level. So Batman came into being when a small boy named Bruce Wayne was walking through Crime Alley with his two parents, who both get shot by a man named Joe Chill, and from that day set out to avenge their deaths by bringing all who prey on the innocent to justice. Now, he of course done this by using his formidable fighting skills, as he's been trained in about 127 forms of martial arts. Now, this training combined with his amazing physical condition make him one of the most elite fighters in the DC universe, and uses an almost endless supply of bleeding edge technology to defeat most of his foes. However, while Batman is very dangerous, especially with all his tech and skills, we also have to remember that we'll be discussing on whether Batman can defeat every single character in his path alone. And while there are those he can simply overcome and outwit despite their physical advantages, there are also those that are so powerful, strong, and durable that Batman would have no way on his own to inflict enough damage to actually hurt them. So his proficiency as a fighter, while great, would naturally be irrelevant in this situation, unless we turn our attention to Batman's greatest asset, and what makes him more formidable than we realized going into this discussion, and that is his almost inexhaustible wealth. I say this because unlike Marvel's Spider-Man, who has superhuman abilities and an advanced healing factor, Batman is simply a mortal human being with no special powers that don't really make him a superhero, but just a badass Sherlock Holmes. But thanks to his high wealth, Batman can develop and acquire many forms of technology that mold him into a true superhero, such as his bat plane, Batmobile, and even his highly advanced mechanized suits for taking on superhumans. And in addition to this, has a computer system that allows him to do everything he possibly can, from accessing different forms of technology, analyzing samples of DNA, chemicals, and pretty much anything else he finds or hacks into. But it's not just his fighting skill and technology that make Batman such a daunting opponent, but the fact that he's able to make such great use of them due to him being such an efficient detective and having a genius level intellect. So it's because of these two factors that many fans believe that while Batman may not be able to win every fight sight unseen, if you gave him time to prepare, he can take on anyone. Why? Because he's Batman, and when you're Batman, you can look at whatever type of threat comes your way, even if it's an opponent you can't defeat on your own, and use the vast variety of resources to make that solution a reality. Now this raises an interesting point, as we've seen characters like Bane give Batman a hard time, even to the point of breaking his back, like going WWE and literally breaking his back. But we also have never seen anything in comics to suggest that Bane is anywhere even near Aquaman's level of strength. And while it's true that Batman has defeated Superman as well as killing Darkseid, that's only because Batman knows their two greatest weaknesses: Kryptonite for Superman and Radion for Darkseid. And to that end, we have also seen many times where Batman had also shown to have the knowledge and the resources to even take out the entirety of the Justice League, such as in DC's Endgame issues 35 through 36, when the Joker was able to take control of Wonder Woman, the Flash, Aquaman, and even Superman by using Joker Venom. Now, Batman had a protocol in place to take out the League by donning a very powerful armor called the Justice Buster that would allow Batman to exploit their various weaknesses, like using the bind of veils created by the god Hephaestus to make Wonder Woman think she had killed Batman, and using an incredibly fast computer system to track the Flash's movements and then spray a frictionless substance in the Flash's proximity and send him spiraling out of control, and even using a quick dry foam on Aquaman, as the more he struggles, the more moisture it rips from his body. Now, after they are of course dealt with, Superman arrives, and Batman uses these mini red sun pods that are built into the knuckles of his fists that are collected from dead solar system, and then eventually defeats him by spitting a gum that is laced with kryptonite. However, it is worth mentioning that Superman did win the confrontation against Batman in the Justice Buster armor. However, the most popular example of Batman taking out the Justice League was in Tower of Babel, when Ra's al Ghul stole plans from Batman just in case he had to take out the League. This includes covering Martian Manhunter and nanites that would indefinitely ignite him in flames, using Scarecrow's fear toxin to make Aquaman afraid of water, and even shooting a bullet at the Flash to make him have seizures at the speed of light, as well as using red kryptonite to neutralize Superman through immense pain and sensory overload. So these are only two examples in supporting the fact that Batman can take on almost anyone with prep time. However, there are some important things to bring up here. One is that while those elements were resourceful, rare, and most difficult to get a hold of, it would be even more difficult for him to acquire every single thing to defeat every single opponent, as not every character has a distinct weakness for Batman to exploit, as if it weren't for Superman's weakness to kryptonite, Batman would have never subdued Superman at the end of New 52's Endgame. And keep in mind that if Batman did face a character just as powerful as Superman with no weakness, he would have to find a way to go toe-to-toe with them physically and engineer an even stronger and more durable armor to withstand an unlimited amount of damage, especially from a character that is just as strong, if not stronger, than Superman, and which there are. And whether he's able to do this is something we don't know for sure, but from what I have seen from his previous supersuits before, I would have to say it's unlikely that he can, because even if he does get a hold of a material that is even close to as durable as, well, say, vibranium, there's still no saying he could last indefinitely, as characters like the Silver Surfer have busted through solid thick vibranium walls before, as well as Thanos breaking Captain America's vibranium shield, which can take blows from Mjolnir. Let's also not forget that there are forces Batman will also have to deal with that derive their power from divine forces such as Marvel's Ghost Rider and Juggernaut. Now, the reason I bring these two up is because Batman will never be able to deal enough damage to defeat these characters, as they are bestowed with limitless durability and highly advanced healing factors. So Batman would have to move on to more mystic methods. And to that extent, while Batman is very intelligent and has an almost unlimited resource of highly advanced technology at his disposal, he really doesn't have a way of neutralizing any kind of mystical energy, nor would he know how to use it, especially if he fought magic-based characters that specialize in the mystic arts. So in the end, I think the majority of us can agree that Batman is obviously not even close to being unbeatable. Even with all of his special skills and almost infinite amount of resources he has on his person, which makes him an extremely formidable foe, Batman cannot defeat every single character, even with prep time. Now, some of you may be saying, wow, Mike, you really sound like you're underrating Batman, but that's not the case at all. In fact, Batman is one of my favorite superheroes of all time. However, all Batman fans, including myself, have to put our love aside for the Dark Knight and look at the big picture without being biased. And by doing this, I think a small part of you might realize that Batman cannot defeat every single character alone. And it's not a bad thing if Batman loses a fight, because the big reason why so many of us like him is that he's human, and all humans have their limits, including Batman. But I know there's going to be so many angry people. How could you say Batman can't beat anyone? That's not right, you're wrong! Well, to be honest, Batman is an insanely popular character with a strong fan following that's both massive and fiercely devoted, and which is often why so many people request Batman and Versus episodes to begin with. So no matter what I would have had said in this video, whether if it was right or wrong, a large portion of you were going to be upset anyway. And knowing that, I wasn't afraid to speak my mind and be as brutally honest with you guys as possible. But in the meantime, that's all I have for this one. So I'm going to sign off by asking 3 questions and just answer them in the comments below if you want. So here we go. Number 1, who do you think is smarter and can make better use of prep time? Batman or Thanos? Number 2, which Batman versus argument is the most debated in your opinion besides Batman versus Superman? Number 3, would you like to see Batman as a villain, either if it's movies or comics, for a short period of time? So those are your questions. So if you guys are new here on Dream Battles, make sure you hit that subscribe button to become a part of the Dream community. And if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like, comment, and suggestions for more discussions just like this one. MikeG off your screen. Stay tuned for the next video. See you guys soon.